from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show with Mike and Jay. Shalom, baby. Hello, Jay.
Michael,
How are you, my friend?
pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, you as well.
For a moment there, I thought we might never be with you again.
I was thinking that as well. It's been a rather strange few days.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, I wish I could say it's great to be back, but it's good to be sitting here talking to you guys and not where I was for the last few days. But yeah, I don't. Do most people know? Most people probably know that I had a incident that I ended up in the hospital, and which is right on the heels of Mike Clark's death. Like, Mike dies. We did a tribute show to him that a lot of people
Was
enjoyed.
this a sympathy situation or was it an attention gathering situation?
Yeah.
Well,
I
Look at
mean,
me,
was it
look
like,
at
hey,
me.
enough Mike Clark stuff. I got my own shit going
There's
on.
another Mike over here.
Yeah, don't forget about me. No, what I was thinking was I saw all the tributes pouring in nationally, locally, all the stories. It was just more and more. And it was like, how do I outdo these sons of bitches with my version of a tribute to Mike Clark? And I was like, well, Clark had his gallbladder removed a few years back. Maybe I could have my gallbladder removed. And so in a show of solidarity, that's what I decided to do.
A show of solidarity.
So that was my ultimate tribute to Mike Clark, was to
That's going to be tough to beat, I got to say.
yeah.
So they
full
sucked
surgery.
it out of you, huh?
Yeah, dude.
Took her right out.
It was brutal. Like, I was getting my days confused. Like, they were all just flowing into one. Like, so Wednesday we did the show, which meant we had one more show to do Thursday. And so Wednesday night, past midnight, going into Thursday morning, about 3:30 in the morning, all of a sudden I get what feels like heartburn. We've all had heartburn, but this felt like worse than ever, like really, really bad. It came on fast and it just stuck. And dude, I ate a whole like roll of Rolaids or Tums or something. And I'm like, this is just unbelievable. And so finally I'm like, well, maybe I'll sleep for a few hours and then see how I feel. No chance of sleeping. And so I laid there in agony for hours. And finally I texted you, Jay, and maybe you, E, but I was just like, hey, dude, can you do something later? I'm going to have to go to the doctor. Because I didn't know if it was my heart or what was going on. So I call my cardiologist. I'm like, hey, I've got this pain in my chest. It's really bad. It won't stop. And he's like, come on in, and so, but that place, it's like, I mean, even when you walk in there, sit in the waiting room, there's signs like, please be patient. We understand that the waits are extremely long, but that's because of the care we give individually, all this shit. I sat there for 3 hours, dude, in agony. I'm like the guy. I'm sitting in the chair, and my chest is caving. Like, other people there are like, "Are you okay, man?" And I'm like, "No, I'm so fucking far from okay right now."
So this isn't the ER. This is just a normal.
This is at this point, I didn't know. I figured, with all the shit I've had going on, I figured it was, heart related or something. So I texted Beth because she's my emergency contact, and I was just like, "Hey, I'm on, I'm at the doctor's office." She's like, "I'll be there in a minute." So she shows up, thank God, and can talk to the doctors. I'm just writhing in pain. So they start doing EKGs on me, and they're like, "This looks great, man. I mean, your heart is doing really well. This is nice." I'm like,
freaking racehorse. Over
okay,
there.
this isn't helping, man. I'm fucking dying here. He's like, maybe you should go to the ER. And
what? Like, I know that he necessarily doesn't know where to start, but it still seems like you're there right now. Why do you have to go to ER?
Yeah.
I've billed all I can from you. Go,
right,
go over to the
right.
ER, doctor.
I got a great guy over at ER you should see.
And the last place you want to go is the ER. You know what I mean? Like, right out of the gate, you're going to sit there for hours, at best on a gurney in a hallway somewhere, stacked up with 10 other people. It's awful. And so he's like, well, I can give you this I can prescribe this medication to you. It's kind of gross tasting. It's this like thicker, sludgy type thing, and you drink it and it'll coat you, and way more powerful than any, Tums or anything like that. And I'm like, yes, I'll take that. And so my thing was, I wasn't refusing ER. I was just like, I'd like to try that first. So I go and wait an hour to get this thing filled. And they're like, yeah, do you insurance? I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, I got a discount card though. And they're like, yeah, we've got that in here. That'll give you 50% off. I'm like, great. How much is it? That'll be $532.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not trying to.
No, it's funny.
Oh my God.
I'm like, wait, it's $532, and then I get half off. They're like, no, it's over $1,000, but it's
Shit.
$530 or something. I'm like,
Just for a sip of this nectar.
yeah, this sweet nectar that tastes gross, but it's apparently gonna work. And I'm like, I would have paid 10 grand. Like I was in such pain standing there. I'm like, here's my card, just fucking give me this shit, you know? And she's like, well, I don't even know if we have enough. Like, oh, fucking give me what you got. So they end up coming out with one bottle.
I hope I hope it's less than $500.
Yeah,
If you get...
they had $120 worth, and they're like, you can pick up the rest on Monday, but right now we'll charge you $120. So I get this thing, I start drinking it, and Beth takes me to her house. I'm like, I just want some fruit, see if I can digest anything. By the way, when I leave the doctor's office, it is now closed. There's not a soul in the fucking place. Right? I've been there so long, all afternoon. The place is closed.
Shut her down.
I start walking to the
Shut down the doctor's office.
I start walking to the elevator, and you know that fucking when your mouth gets really wet, like when you're getting nauseous.
Yeah.
I get that feeling.
Sort of
and
taste the bile and stuff.
yeah, I'm just like,
It's the worst part of the process,
Oh.
in my opinion.
Oh, I don't know. The coming up part's
Nah,
pretty
there's
bad.
relief there, dude.
You're right. You're right.
It's that prior to.
yeah. Well,
kills
you're
me.
hoping it's something you ate that was bad, and you know if you can just get it out, everything will be good. I just grab Beth's arm, and there's just a garbage can sitting there, and I proceed to fucking hurl. This would normally be a filled lobby with people, and just puke my guts out into this fucking garbage can. And I'm
Your
like, wow.
$120 nectar, just boom.
No,
in the
this is
garbage
before the pre-nectar. I was
Okay.
backing up, sorry. And then we go get the nectar, go to Beth's house, and I'm taking this stuff, and she's got her nurse shit, so she's doing my blood pressure. It's shooting through the roof. She's like, we need to go to the ER. And I'm like, no, not go to the fucking ER. It's 8:00 at night. I'm like, no, that'll suck. And she's like, you are a fucking asshole. I'm telling you, you need to go to the ER. I'm like, let me just see if this will take. Just give me another
It'll
sip of
take.
this nectar. And finally, after another hour of this shit, I'm like, I need to go to the ER.
Yeah.
And at this point, Jay is texting me going, I could probably still gather and do a show at like 8:00 at night if you guys, he doesn't know the extent. I'm like, dude, I'm on the way to the ER. I'm sorry. You know, if you and E want to do something, knock yourselves out. But so I go to the ER and I'm there.
That's how these things usually go, by the way. We usually get a text in the morning. Mike's like, I'm not feeling good. And then we sort of check in during the day. Like,
yeah.
Can we do it at 2? Can we do it at 3? Can we do it?
Which sucks because people are going, you got to let the guys know what's going on. And I'm like, but I don't have anything to tell. I can write them and go, I have no update at this point. You know that I'll text you guys as soon as I know something, but it sucks because I never know when I can get in. I never know how long it's going to take. And, here it is after dark. Now it's the evening. Nothing has changed. It has been a constant stream of absolute fucking pain for hours upon hours upon hours now. We're coming up on 15, 16 hours of this. So I finally get admitted into the ER, and they've got me in a gurney, and I'm just laying there, and I'm writhing in fucking pain. They don't know what the problem is. They do 2 EKGs, and now I'm getting fucking pissed because I know they're charging me for all this shit.
Right. You're like, dude, I just had 2 of these 5 hours ago or whatever.
And I got to apologize to the fine folks at Beaumont Royal Oak because I was not the most personable individual that some have come to know. I was rather short with many of them, and not happy. And so finally, they're running these tests, and I've got IVs in both arms, and I'm like, can you please give me something for the fucking pain? Anything. I don't care. Knock me out. Whatever you got to do. I cannot sit here like this for one more minute. So finally, they did. I got a little bit of relief. And they put me into a fucking room with a roommate, and I'm sitting there and I'm just fucking dying. And they finally come in. They're like, yeah, it's your gallbladder. Your gallbladder has a fucking giant stone that is blocked, whatever. It's got to come out. There's no removing the stone or anything. You need surgery, blah, blah,
Like
blah.
now.
Like now. And I'm like, ugh.
All you see is dollar
Fuck.
signs, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm like 50 grand maybe. And they're doing it. Well, let's do another EKG. They're sending in doctor teams. And, well, let's send in our cardiologist team. And I'm just going, you motherfuckers, I know what you're doing because I've heard from doctor friends that this is the way the system is milked, where it's like they're going to run every fucking test in the world because they can bill for it.
Sure.
They can bill for everything. And I'm just seething. Well, we wanted to introduce you to your surgeon. This is Dr. So-and-so. And it's like, great. When can we do this, doc? Can you wheel me in now, knock me out, and do the fucking surgery? Well,
Whoa.
We need to slow down. We need to send this team in, and then another doctor. I met 60 doctors. And it's like, every one of them, I'm just hearing ching, ching.
Right.
Someone's being billed for this.
They're probably yelling down the hall, dude, we got one. You know what I
Got
mean?
a live one on the line.
Hey, John, get in here. This is billable. Get in here.
And so, dude, I'm sitting there, and so they're
We
like,
got one.
now it's like 3:30 in the morning, right? It's 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. My parents have showed up. Beth is there. She's got to work at the same hospital in like 4 hours.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, which is great.
Cut out her commute at least.
But-
So that's a positive. She'd be thanking you.
But she won't leave until they arrive. So they finally get there and tag team. She's gone. And so they're asking a ton of questions, and I'm irritated that they're asking questions. I just want them to cut me open and get this fucking thing out of me and send me home. And so finally at like 4 in the morning, they're like, yep, we're going to do the skirt surgery. We'll get it scheduled here first thing in the morning, you know. And so this is Thursday.
Well,
Going into Friday, I guess. Like I said, dude, it's hard to keep track of all this shit. So now it's Friday comes and goes, and I'm like, hey man, there's a big Michigan State game on Saturday. I'd really like to be the fuck out of here. And then like,
whoa.
I see it. I see that, you know, because now, you know, I've got all night. They could do the surgery at any point in the night, and then as long as I react okay to meds and I feel okay, they can wheel me out of there and send me home, and I don't have to spend another God knows how many thousands of dollars to stay another night in the hospital. And so they're like, yeah, we'll get you in first thing. Dude, the time is just ticking by. Hours are going by. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dude, it's fucking like the middle of late afternoon before they even like, oh, we're going to send you down for surgery. Finally, they put me in a fucking room. You know, we're just prepping the room. We'll wheel you right in and get you going. 3 hours. I laid in a fucking gurney for 3 hours in this room.
And you're just in that,
was gonna say,
backless dress.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, freezing, right? Probably freezing.
And then
Was
I'm
there a
not kidding
TV
you,
or
Jay.
no?
Yeah, there was a
Okay.
TV, but it's a pain in the ass. It's
I
got
know,
a little
but-
speaker on this handheld
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
hear. Dude, and I've got double IVs in each arm, and it's like you can't move. It's
Gotcha.
horribly uncomfortable. Plus, they give me these like, they're like, you can't have anything on if you've got any clothing of yours on that's not ours. They'll cut it off and it'll be ruined. I'm like, okay. They're like, but we have our own underwear that we supply. Do you want? I'm like,
dude.
But that's comfortable.
okay. They're like, they're mesh underwear. I'm like, it's better than just having my dick and balls flopping out. I'm like, yeah.
You wore mesh underwear?
Dude, they're these little fucking like girl
Little
shorts.
panties?
Little panty girl shorts.
Wow.
And I put them on, and right before I get wheeled, like almost very soon before I get wheeled in, I get a text from Jay that just says, hey man, remember, when you go under, the nurses are going to be checking out your dick and balls. So make
It's the
sure
first
you fluff.
thing.
Make sure. And I was like, I swear to God, Jay, as I'm being wheeled into this
fluffing.
bright fucking white room, I'm thinking of you. I'm reaching down with IVs in, and I'm fucking shaking my dick and balls, just trying to get him in some
Sure.
sort of presentable position.
Some
Because I
sort
know,
of formation.
yeah, I know that they're going to be checking out my dick
Absolutely
and
they will.
balls. And, you know,
You're a public figure, Mike. I'm sure they're like, that's Mike Walters.
they were like,
Let's check out his dick and balls.
They were
First
like-
thing.
well, they kept coming every time they come in. They're like, "What's your name? What's your?" Because they, you know, they can't fuck anything up and cut the wrong leg off or something,
Sure.
you know. And so and I'm like, "What is with all the fucking repetitive questions?" And they're going through the whole thing, and then they're like, "So what do you do for a living?"
What's that have to do with?
Fuck, does that matter? But I'm like, I host a talk show. Oh, which one? This and that.
Yeah,
Did
they
you know-
definitely checked out your dick and
And it
balls.
was like,
no
fuck,
question about
yeah,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
Well, I
you?
hope you send them directly to the website with our samples, some of our great samples that we have.
Yeah, they're gonna listen. Oh, check it out. Where do I find it? I'm like, nah.
The internet.
Oh yeah, you want to listen to the tiny dick guy you did surgery on, you know? And I'm just like, fuck. So I get into the actual room where they're doing the surgery, and I just laying there, just like, okay. Usually there's a countdown, you know. They start talking. I don't remember a fucking thing. All of a sudden, I'm out,
Yeah.
and I'm back in my room, and so now I've got to stay there. And the doctor's like, hey, surgery went well.
Feel lighter at that point, quicker.
No, I didn't at that point. I'm
No.
still hooked up to everything, and I'm groggy as fuck, and I'm in pain, and you know.
Now at this point, what are you doing with your bile? Because I binged this thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, it stores your bile. That's what a gallbladder
yeah, it's going to be a
does.
problem. It's going to be a process. We're going to figure
Yeah.
that out as we go.
Okay.
It's going to be a group effort.
Definitely
We're gonna
saw
figure that
from
out.
a lot of people. It sounds like loose stools will be in the.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
and farts are going to be sweet and epic now, I guess. For a while, it sounds like your body adjusts.
Uh-huh.
But
There's
for
a lot
while,
of organs it seems we don't really need. You know, the appendix
Yeah.
is one, right? They
Yeah.
regularly take out. It's not known what the fuck it's supposed to do. What the spleen you
Yeah.
don't need. Gallbladder. In Ezus's case, is penis.
Yep, absolutely. Heart is important.
Well, ask
still.
the Tin Man. Ask the Tin Man.
That's true.
You
Good,
can get
great
around.
point. Great point.
Brain too. Ask
Yeah.
the Scarecrow.
Yeah, it's great points.
Can be done.
How many organs can you lose before?
That's
it's
what
like,
I'm
this
saying,
is-
dude. We could just start shaving them off. I don't know
Yeah.
that you need half of what's in you.
Well, the doctor came in, the surgeon, and he was like, "Well, I had to make twice the size of the incision at the belly." Like, dude, they cut into my belly button.
Oh my God.
They ruined your button.
They ruined my button.
Were you an Audi?
I was not an Audi. I actually had a pretty sexy button. If
Are
you
you
want
a-
to be
are you an
totally,
Audi now?
you know, not an Audi now, no. But I'm gonna
Can
have
you
a nice
imagine
scar.
you wake up, you're a fucking Audi? That would suck so
Oh
bad.
my God, that's
Audis are
suicide.
gross.
Suicide. At
Gross.
that
Anybody
point,
out there, you got an Audi? You're gross.
Would you blame me for checking out? It was like, well, what happened? He left a note, and it turns out they gave him an Audi belly button.
He's
and
done.
It was too much for him to comprehend at this point. He took himself out.
The straw that broke the dromedary's back right there. Fuck it. I'm an Audi now? No. I'm Audi.
They ended up giving me an 8x11 picture of them inside me. Like, here's your spleen. Here's your fucking.
Is it like
gallbladders blown
framed
up.
or signed
like a
or
color 8x10? They're like, yeah, you can take that. And I'm like, and everyone's like,
What?
yeah, you want to take that to the guys? I'm like, no, the guys do not want to see this.
The guys do want, though,
You do?
a piece of your gallbladder. Did you bring it in?
I
Jesus
think I
can
did.
eat it.
I think I did, but I think they laughed it off. Like, no, dickhead, we're not giving you a piece of your
Why?
gallbladder.
Why?
You to eat.
You paid all this money for this shit.
I know, but for some reason they think it's theirs now, and I have no laid claim of it. You know, I
You
can't.
didn't even get the stone?
No, I didn't. I didn't fight hard though. I'll be honest with you. I was not in any condition to fight.
So what caused this stone? Like, do I need to worry about this, Mike? Like, is this
Um,
something that can happen to anybody? All of a sudden you've got this awful pain
don't-
and it's like,
I don't know. I was in so much pain. I wasn't asking a tremendous amount of questions. I just wanted it to stop.
yeah.
And so now I can go back and research a little bit more. But when the surgeon came, he was like, yeah, trying to yank that thing out. He had to move some other organs and, trying to get it out of there to make the incision bigger
Shit.
because the stone was so big.
Now let me ask you this:
I'm just like, fuck, man. Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel where you were moving shit around. It hurts like hell.
Do you think that he really had to do this, or do you think that I can see doctors so getting off on like, yeah, I had to do all this and that,
Talking it up.
and
yeah.
just like, oh my, you don't even want to know, you know?
Tough case, but I got it done.
Yeah.
Lucky I was on the job.
Dude, I've been on like planes several times where they're like, oh, the landing might be a little rough, guys, and then it's like perfect. And I'm like, did they just tell us that it might be rough so we could just be like, wow, this must
Wow,
be a
that
good
guy really
pilot?
worked through some turbulence, didn't he? Holy shit, is he good?
Well, I did gain a respect for just the cleanliness nature of a United States hospital
Yeah,
situation.
I bet.
You know what I mean? Like they're wiping off. Like they won't even stick a fucking an IV replacement thing into your thing without sterilizing, and they're constantly doing their hands.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine being in some third world country where they're
Ugh.
taking a
You got a
hacksaw to
shithole?
let demons out of your head.
Right.
It's like dirt floor. Like, dude, we are so lucky to be in a place where it's just as sterile gets. But anyway, the doctor's like, oh, we'll have you out of here in no time. And so finally, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, he signs off on my release. So it's Saturday, game day. And
Perfect, right?
I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. Lay there for 3 hours.
4 fucking hours later. I'm like, they're like, well,
But they got to make sure you like can pass a bowel movement, right?
no, well, I've got a story about
Oh,
that.
boy.
But
Oh,
yeah,
great.
doesn't quite involve me. Well, it does, but doesn't. But no, the thing is, the doctors sign off. They'll tell you you're good, but they need to make their rounds, and then they sign off. Like, I've signed off on these people are clear to go, and these nurses are stuck waiting. They're just stuck there waiting for, like, I'm waiting for it to show up on the computer that he has actually
Right.
signed off. And that takes fucking forever. And I'm just stewing. Meanwhile, for the last 2.5 days, I've had a roommate, right? And there's just a curtain.
Name,
right?
description, anything?
I didn't really see him that often because I was in my own world. So I don't know if he was Asian or black or white or Hispanic. I don't know. I know it was a guy, and I know he was on the phone a lot. He was on the hospital phone a lot, and the conversations went.
On the hospital phone? Who the fuck doesn't have a
Yeah.
cell phone with
He had
them?
a cute little thing. Someone brought him some little flowers. He had a card. And he's laying there, and he's on the phone, and I'm always like whispering. I just
Yeah.
want to be like I don't want people to know what's going on. And nurses come in, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's cool. It keeps dying. It's 2:30 in the morning, and the guy laying here. This guy has a different outlook on how these things should go, and his phone calls went along the lines of, shit, listen, bitch, listen. Now, I ain't going to tell you again, bitch. You know where I is. And here's, look, I told you we was done, bitch, and I fucking meant it. Now, listen, that motherfucker can say what he wants, but listen, bitch,
Oh,
Just laying in a
Listen,
hospital
laying in a
bed.
hospital bed. Listen, bitch. Just because I got some side action going is none of your motherfucking business right now, bitch. And you know that. We've talked about it. Now, listen,
that's
listen.
exactly what he said.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This is. I didn't, transcribe it, but this is
No,
my
okay.
best
I just want to.
recollection.
Okay.
And then he's going, listen, bitch. I'm in the hospital. I've been here since Tuesday. They will not let me leave until I take a shit. You know, I have not been able to have a successful movement in over a week and a half now, and they will not let me leave until I can take a shit. So I do not need this shit. Bitch, bye, bitch, bye, bitch. Phone hangs up.
Can you imagine a
And I'm
week
like,
and a half?
This is fucking what world? Yeah.
When he passes, my lord.
Dude, this guy was hilarious. So sudden, a couple hours go by. Yo, what up, though? He's on the phone again. Nigga, listen, nigga, shit. We've been through this, my man. I don't give a shit what that bitch says. Listen, motherfucker, I'm in the hospital and they will not let me leave until I take a shit. Until I have a successful movement, I cannot leave this bed. I am stuck here until I have a movement. He's screaming at this guy. We can settle this shit when I get out of here. But right now, I'm stuck here dealing with this shit. Hangs the phone. I'm just like, this is fucking hilarious. So finally, I'm getting ready to leave, and the nurse is like, well, once we get signed off, we can take your IVs out, then you can go take a shower. I was like, yeah, I haven't showered in a couple days. And so finally, they get my IVs out, and I'm going to make my way to the shower and take a shower. And as I walk by,
Took a glance at your roommate.
well, no, I'm still in my room. There's still a curtain drawn, and the nurse, is loud as fuck. She's going, yeah, you can shower, and then we'll get the paperwork ready, and we'll get you released. And I just hear, hey, yo, Mike. Hey, yo, Mike. Hello? Yeah. He's like, you got to listen careful, man. You going for a shower. Now, they just gave me a whole bunch of laxatives. So we're going to have to work as a team here because when I got to go, it's going to come quick. And so you
Week
can't
and
be
a half worth.
Yeah, we can't be taking no long showers, drawing this process out. We're going to have to work in tandem. We're going to have to be a team here. It's like, oh, shit. But in the middle of the night before, he's laying in bed, and I just hear, oh,
Oh God, the hospital.
oh, oh, oh. I'm like, that's what I think that was. And then it was like, 1,000, 1,000. Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
Dude.
Week and a half.
It was a
worth.
week and a half of stuffed up bowel, impacted bowel.
Can't believe you didn't throw
Released
up on
it.
this.
Dude, I almost did. It was the most vile fart ever. Yeah, that's how my 3 days have been, Jay. That's how my few days have been.
I'm glad you're back.
Holy shit. I got to say, Beth was a saint, put up with a lot of shit. My parents were. My mom's been nursing me back to health, and I got all kinds of meds going. And you guys
You
have
look
been
good,
great.
Mike. You look great. Your skin looks great.
Yeah, that's what I actually asked that. I said, does my color look okay?
It
And
looks
people like,
fabulous.
it
I
looks
thought you'd
fine.
look a lot worse than this.
And then
you
I
seem
had,
to be moving around okay.
I had a nurse at one point.
Is that right?
Yeah, I had a male nurse, and he came in, and he's like,
Gaylord?
no, his name wasn't Gaylord Fokker, but nice guy. And he's like, I need to check your feet. I don't know why, for, rashes or something. Who knows? And he's like, and your back and your butt. I was like, this is a
Come on,
trick.
Merce.
You can't be a male nurse walking here telling me you need to check my butt for some reason. I was in no.
Did he use the term butt?
He said,
Didn't say
yeah, I
your
need
backside
he
or
said
anything like
buttocks.
that?
He said butt. He actually
Butt. You need to
And then-
check your butt. Were you like my cheeks or my actual a-hole?
said, dude, I just rolled over. I was like,
Did you
do
roll
your
over and
work,
just
man.
spread your cheeks?
He didn't insert anything, so I was cool with it. If he was just taking a couple quick pictures, whatever. But he's like, hey, man, you from down south? I was like, no. Why? He's like, you got an amazing tan. I was like, all right, just stick to the fucking, just check the butt, the back, and the feet. And let's
You
get-
have an amazing tan.
What?
Apparently, yeah.
Huh.
Apparently, I do.
Okay.
According to the nurse.
How is that possible?
I'm not making this up, man. I wouldn't do that. And then, go ahead, do it, Reed J.
Hey, everybody. Does your money work as hard as you do? You will spend upwards of 45 years working to support your lifestyle, provide for your family, set aside money for retirement. Do you know if you'll be able to retire on your terms? How could you know if you don't have a plan? Let Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial help to make sure your money is working as hard as you are. Call Mark today, 248-626-2000. Ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
So, Jay, do you have any thoughts on HIPAA compliance, HIPAA laws? You know what they are, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's your right to privacy. And by all the paperwork and the shit you see taped to the desk when you get up there, and the way they do when you sign in at the doctor's office. A lot of them are stickers now that as soon as you sign in, they peel it off.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
put it so that the other people coming in can't go, oh my God, Jay Detroit Cast is here. So they really go out of their way to give this idea that they're HIPAA compliant and everything is between you two and blah, blah, blah. Do you believe in that? Do you?
Kind of question is that? I mean, what?
Well, because I did. I really believe that there was
you believe that it's actually happening?
That people
Well, there's
care
huge
about
penalties if you don't do it. So
right.
there better be systems in place at least. Whether it actually is following the system, I guess I've never truly thought about that.
Well, I learned what some of those systems are. Now, obviously, if there's a document, if they get lazy and just throw a bunch of paperwork into the dumpster and people go through it and get all these documents, you're not HIPAA compliant. But you're supposed to have this right to privacy and all that kind of shit. And so what I found out, though, is that curtain, that shower curtain they pull between you protects them and is like, okay, this is now that we've pulled this curtain, it's half wide open anyways, and it's just a fucking shower curtain.
Right.
This is our good faith effort to your privacy. We now believe that you are private.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, my friend, it is anything but fucking private. And it was disturbing. Like, they are coming in and they're asking a million questions of me loudly. I've got a roommate. The door is open. And there's just people everywhere. And it's like,
Wow.
So, have you been checked for AIDS or HIV? I'm like, are you asking me or are you asking the fucking guy 6 doors down? So I understand you've got a drug history. When was the last time you used drugs?
Yeah.
I'm like,
wow.
I don't know. Can you say it a little louder? Maybe the whole fucking hospital can gather around and we can all discuss this together. It was unbelievable, dude. That went on all those few days. And maybe they're just so used to seeing it and they're so open about everything. It just doesn't seem like much. But I'm just as open as I am on a forum like this. I'm private with other shit. And dude, I am not one of those people that makes a scene in public. I'm not going to be yell at you guy in line or.
No, you're just going to take cuts in line.
Sometimes when necessary, only when necessary. It was blistering hot that day in New York. I'm telling you, it was 90. It was only right.
90 for all those other people too.
I shaved a good 2 hours off that line. Shaved a good 2 hours. I'm proud of that. But yeah, dude, I don't know, man. There's something's got to be done because it felt like I don't know. It felt very not HIPAA compliant. I don't mean to bag on those guys. They did apparently good work. I'm standing here in front of you today. But yeah, it was couldn't believe how fucking loud some of those people were. Anyway, enough about me. Dominated too much of the time. I will say that I was messaging with Cynthia Clark, and as predicted, there's not going to be a public funeral for him. There's going to be. She was like, "Yeah, I think we're just going to do a private celebration of life with you guys, and blah blah blah. I'll let you know once Trish and her and them can kind of get their heads around everything." So, if you're looking for a big, like memorial service, I wouldn't expect something like that. Just wanted to put that out there. How was your guys' last few days?
Yeah, me and Isis shoved a bunch of content in the members area, so you members get over there and check all that out. What did we do? About an hour yesterday?
Probably.
At least.
Yeah.
So didn't do a show yesterday.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
We did get a bunch of member content in though.
Good. Is everything good with the members area? I know you've been working your dick off behind the scenes, Jay, and maybe this isn't for air.
Probably not. I mean,
probably not.
No.
Okay. All right, I won't bring it up. But
hey, everybody, check out the Detroitcast listener business page, though. It's a page under the Help the Show tab on our website, DetroitCast.com. Page includes businesses owned by listeners. Take a look. It'd be great to support supporters of the show. This week's featured business is none other than Arnold Roofing. Free estimates, licensed and insured. They serve Southeast Michigan. They specialize in roofing and gutters. Their end game is customer satisfaction. We, of course, have used Arnold Roofing here at the studio, and they did a bang-up job.
Sure did. Very good people.
Not a single drip out of those skylights.
Not a one. And you can just tell, when you're dealing with pros. Like, I've had so many contractors here over the years, and it's like, oh, you're one of those shitty contractors.
Including the one you made cry.
Yeah. Glenn. I've finally come around to starting to feel bad about that.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know
because if I was a fucking man, an adult, I would have addressed it 3 weeks earlier instead of getting to a point where I exploded and made a grown contractor.
Yeah, that's
cry.
how I would have.
Jay would have handled it properly. You would have handled it like me, E, but you probably never would have exploded.
You're right. It probably wouldn't have even. I'm so anti-confrontational. I probably still wouldn't have done that. But you're right. I would have been like, God, this guy's fucking up. What's he doing here? Oh well, let's just
Just write it out. See how
just
this
keep
goes.
paying these paychecks. Don't worry about it.
Is it true? I'm hearing a rumor that you were plagiarized.
That is a good point. Speaking of which, you're right. I can't even believe this happened to me today. Like, I got flat out.
You heard about this, Jay, at all?
I saw some cryptic text about someone stealing a Facebook
So this
post.
is what happened. It wasn't anything that special. It wasn't the most funny thing of all time by any means.
What was it? For context, what did you write?
I made a post today. I just was sitting there, and I think I was texting another friend, and I joking about being in a relationship, and I'm like, oh, I'm in a relationship with Netflix. So I just put it on Facebook, kind of like, hey guys, I have this big announcement. I finally have a girlfriend after months and months. You're
finally in a relationship.
I'm finally in a relationship, and it's with Netflix. The whole deal is that it's with Netflix. I'm making it Facebook official, blah, blah, blah.
Didn't you do this before, maybe 2 years ago?
Yeah, I kind of thought you did too.
Yeah,
I don't-
wait, hold on. Are you plagiarizing your own post?
Not like
Can you
this. There's no
plagiarize your own
way.
post?
Jesus,
There's no
this
way I did
seems-
this.
Honest to God, this
I
rings
swear
a
to
bell.
God, it does. I don't mean to. I'm not
no
just
way did
taking
I word it
sides
like
with
Because I
this,
Jay.
think
but-
this was one where, like, I think Gab pointed out, like, that's kind of funny. Look at these. Like,
No
I
way.
remember
Not like this. No way.
I do, dude.
I don't care.
I remember
It
this.
does- Well, I
sort of
don't,
do
so-
too. I don't mean to pile on. I don't mean to just side with Jay, but I sort of remember that too.
I didn't
Wow.
word it like this, and you
Wow.
guys don't even know. You're just right now. You're just sitting here on some vague memory and going, "Wow."
Well, I mean,
So it doesn't matter. That doesn't even matter in this story. So I put this out on Facebook, and then it's just like a few minutes later, I'm scrolling through my wall, and I'm just like, or my news feed, and I'm just like, I see this paragraph, and something in it caught my eye, and I'm like, that looks like something I just posted. And I start looking at it. It is verbatim
Copy and paste job.
a copy and paste job of my status from 4 minutes ago, and I'm just like,
4 minutes.
yeah, it was 4 minutes. It was
By
4.
who? Out this
Dude,
person.
I don't even. You know
Oh,
what? I
boy.
don't.
This was a friend of yours
Hold
because
on,
you saw
before
it in
you-
your feed.
I'm not gonna out
Before
him.
you go outing people, just imagine the despair and the desperate soul that is needing to steal.
I'm not gonna say
from
his full
Big E.
name.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like if you're robbing Big E of comedy content, I mean that just says
I'm just
this is
flummoxed
a
that
cry for help.
This is a dude who is your friend on Facebook, so he's going to repost this, and he's in danger
I guess he assumes
of
that-
you and other people you know seeing it and going, wait, didn't this guy just copy off E?
you know what
That's
the thing
crazy
is?
to me.
Most people, I would say this.
It
right?
was Facebook, not Twitter.
Right, Facebook. Most
Okay.
people, I think, aren't on. Like I'm on 24/7 almost. I'm always scanning my feeds and seeing. So like you could maybe think that like most people wouldn't see everyone's post. I see almost everything that people post. Very little hides for me on Facebook. It's just true. And so like 4 minutes later, I'm just like,
He's just watching his real time.
right,
Fucking
exactly.
page, real time.
I am.
Wow.
Well, it's not my
It's
page.
very
but it's my
rare when I
friends.
go, hey man, did you see that post? Even when he goes, nah, I don't know. And I start explaining what it is. He's like, oh yeah, I saw that.
But
He
so-
does see everything.
So, but other people don't. So maybe someone would think just like, yeah, I'll just do this and he won't see it. So my thought was like, if I hadn't seen it. And so at first I'm just like, I guess whatever. And I make a comment like, I even comment on his page. I'm like, did you steal this exactly from me?
You steal this from me, man?
And he just kind of goes, ha ha, no, I'm talking about a different girl, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah,
Hulu.
but you wrote.
Hulu, not Netflix.
Like, and it's like, I mean, it is word for word. He doesn't change a fucking word in it. So I screenshot them, and so I know the minutes. So at one point, it's like mine was 42 minutes ago or whatever. It was 4 minutes off. His was 4 minutes later past mine. And so now he starts getting comments on his thing going like, dude, fucking hilarious. And I'm like, this
Wow.
son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
People
What
are
a kick in the
responding.
balls.
People are responding positively to the brilliant humor of this individual.
Right.
Did you get positive responses? Did you
I
yours,
actually,
Ian?
yeah, I mean, I did too. I got my endorphins, filled, of course, too, or whatever.
Adequate amount of likes.
Right. Yeah, I could have lights, all that shit. But and I'm kind of like, whatever, man. Whatever. Let this go. But then he keeps getting more and more. And then he like finally one time he responds like, yeah, I know, or something. I'm like, son of a bitch. And I start getting pissed. Like
This is outlandish. I'm
Like,
gobsmacked.
I
by
am
this.
show you-
This
I'll
is
show you
as well.
on?
This is outrageous.
dude, I'll show you the screenshots so you can see it and I'm
Do you
just
think
like,
this is widespread? You think people do this? Steal
you know
tweets
what?
and shit?
There's a big difference between Twitter and Facebook. Now, I thought it was a tweet.
it was a Facebook post.
Facebook post is balls, dude. Because you're talking about the only people that see him are in your world.
Yeah,
like
that's
your
what I'm
friends.
saying.
Your-
Like, yeah, he's not even on, like, a
Twitter.
hash-
Temerity is
Twitter is different. Twitter, this happens all the time.
It could be on a hashtag.
Comedian puts out a joke, a quick one-liner. You see it. You have no connection to them.
Yeah.
You grab it the next day. You tweet it out like it's yours. People do that all the time, and sometimes they get caught. But I can understand the rationale of going, there's a billion people on here. No one's gonna know that
Right.
I took that from someone. But Facebook,
And so
boy.
I just keep getting more mad about it, even though it's like it doesn't
Are
even
you
matter.
certain, E, that it's word for word?
I'll show it to you. I
verbatim?
will show you the pictures later. I have them screenshotted, and so I start getting mad, even though like it's so petty, and I don't really want to like go to his friends and be
Yeah,
like, "See, I'm funny too."
I
This
think a
was me."
public shaming is in order.
But like,
Wow.
but
I
like,
think you should
well,
like,
finally, that's
screenshot
what I did.
yours and reply.
well,
or something.
finally, what I did, I replied on one of the ones that said "You're hilarious." I replied with screenshots of the circle of the timestamps, and it doesn't say like.
Did you jump in and say thank you?
Well,
Take
it doesn't
credit
say
for
like I'll say this. It doesn't say like 11:07 and then 11:13. It just was like 42 minutes ago, 47 minutes ago, or something. So, you
It's
can
pretty damning evidence.
But and then
It
I
is.
also put it at the end of his thing. Like, so I reply to one response, and then I reply so everyone that's commented on there will see it, and it's circled. And all he does, he ends up responding with like a ha ha emoji. Like he doesn't address it. And and Mike, when I started the show and I kind of got this weird reaction, and you asked me what it was. One of his friends finally read it and go, "Dude, he's a thief." And I was like, justice has been served. Like,
Wow.
I can't even fathom the
Yeah, it's
idea
crazy.
that.
What are you supposed to?
And my grammar is terrible. That's the thing.
Should E seek counsel over this? I mean, like, what are you supposed to do in a situation like this?
He's
I mean, if you're-
intellectual property.
It absolutely is, and he's a entertainer. He's a writer,
Professional comedian.
professional
Pro period comic.
comedian. And if his shit is being stolen, I mean, dude, if you might want to seek
on the other hand, a part of me was like, hey, these guys don't know me. They think Tim's making this, and they think it's fucking hilarious. So I guess it was a funny thing. But one of his friends finally, like I said, I got right before this show started, I got a little relief with one of his friends finally was like, hey, he's a thief. I'm like, damn right he is. He should address this. But
Brutal, man.
Jay, I'm in the middle, but I'm leaning towards you, which I think if even 1.5 out of 3 is enough in our democracy. So I'm going to let this sit with you as to whether or not we out this individual.
I'm not going to say.
Because I think E doesn't want to. I think Jay is fully in favor of outing
Yeah,
this
I
person.
think this dude should be shamed.
You think-
at least.
I mean,
just
we're a
point-
nation of laws, as you
Look,
always say.
We are a
I
nation
could
of
say
laws.
first name, Tim B.
I think people ought to go check it out and see for themselves. I don't know. I mean,
But Tim B is not going to be enough.
yeah, no, we
more
need
than
we need
Tim
the
B.
full name.
Oh, what do you think? Do you
Is-
think it's okay? I don't want to be a dick.
Is B?
No, just leave it.
Okay,
Leave
it's
it
on. You
there.
know what? It's on my page, and though I would say this, a lot of fans of this show might have mutual friends or something because the mutual friends I all had with him involved this show.
Mhm.
Was there also
So-
a Tim B where if you finished his last name, he would be like a famous wide receiver?
No, but he might play in a football team. Like a football team might be named after his last name.
I think we're saying the same thing, but you don't know
Okay,
who
sorry.
the Oakland Raider receiver is.
Okay,
No
sorry.
idea who you're talking about.
Okay, well, anyway, but I should use this time, by the way, to shamelessly plug that I'll be at Mark Ridley's November 6th for the Detroit to LA comedy contest.
Okay. Yeah,
if
it's the
everyone wants to
follow-up,
come
right?
out, yeah, it's
Round two?
round 2 or whatever. So if
Awesome.
anyone wants to come out to that, clearly I must be doing okay since this Tim B guy just flat out stole one of my statuses
Yeah,
today.
it's good stuff you're doing, E. Being out there, new girlfriend, Netflix.
It was
It's
so
good stuff.
honestly though, it was so ridiculous how mad I started getting about it. Like I started just getting like I didn't even care at first, and then I was just like. I started like seeing more like because since I comment on it, I get a notification every time comments on it come up, and I'm like, someone else like this is funny. Someone else like, oh my god. I'm like, this son of a
Dude,
bitch.
those people are out there. I was telling E, like, I remember Patton Oswalt a couple years ago got into it with a guy, and Patton was just incensed. And he had seen video of a guy who went and took like, I want to say it was like a Louis C.K. hour special, one of his hour specials, memorized it, and then started performing it on stage. And Louis and Patton is like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" And the guy was like, "What? It's a great
Dude.
piece of art, and I figured I'd share it out." But he was going up on stage like a
It's a
comic.
great piece of art. Figured I'd share it.
It's like, no, you just stole this guy's
Oh.
fucking work, you idiot. What's
You know
wrong
what,
with you?
dude? Now that you mention that, I forgot about this. About 3 weeks ago or so, I have a friend that runs a comedy show, and someone got up on his show and just started doing Louis C.K. material. Now that I think about it, Louis C.K. material, people to not a good like reaction whatsoever. And
Wait.
then he's like, "Well, you know what? He's in trouble, so I can use it now." That being his explanation.
Were they being serious, or was that
yes,
part of
no,
the joke?
this dude got dude. It turned out it was a.
Do you remember what bit he was trying to do?
I'd have to look back. It was like 3 weeks ago, but it just
Dude,
my friend was
balls.
just like, yeah, he won't be in comedy long, not doing
That is
shit
lame
like.
as
Dude,
fuck. I
can
can't
you
believe that.
imagine the gall to take a stage and perform someone else's material?
And it's not even like a
Incredible.
premise, or you kind of maybe there's like, oh, this is kind of similar. Like he knew he was doing it. He said he was doing it in the end.
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking the stage and going up and just being like, "Little boy Blue, he needed the money. Oh,
this is fucking innovative.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jumped over the candlestick, burned his dick." I don't remember how that one goes. I need to polish up
Oh,
on it, but I've got some Mother Hubbard stuff I'm working on.
Yeah, there's
Little
something there.
lady lived
Work,
in a
work on
shoe.
that. There's
Yeah.
something there.
Jack and Jill went up the hill, both with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Fucking who? Oh! You think I got something here?
Yeah, definitely. I'd start working the circuit ASAP.
Hey everybody, spectacular savings are back from the dead with our repulsive friends Zotford and Holly. For the month of Rocktober, you can lease a new 18 Ford Escape as low as $57 a month. This squeamishly haunting deal will be gone before you know it. So slither your way to Zotford to see our zombie-rific friends and get your ghoulish new Ford Escape as low as $57 a month. Check out the bone-chilling deals and horrifying inventory at dealsinthed.com.
I'm working on this one too. Little Miss Muffet sat in a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider, sat down beside her and said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?" Oh!
Damn, dude. That's solid.
You think that's good?
Dude, I would fucking...
That brings back memories from like
Does
7th
it?
grade.
Can you
man.
imagine that tape being...
Bring back memories. Mike just
Remember
came
that
up with
tape
that.
being passed around? Fuck, dude. It was all beat up.
Yeah.
It was a must listen. Must listen stuff.
Good stuff.
Let's get to some other news. Speaking of comics, Louis C.K., one of his dear friends is Sarah Silverman. She gave a big interview to Stern this morning, and they were talking about Louis and blah, blah, blah. And I think she's trying to help Louis. I don't know that she did.
I think you're right.
In the end, I mean, Louis, what's he done? 2 public appearances now at the Comedy Store in New York.
Pretty
or
good
something.
reception by all accounts.
There's usually one in the audience that's triggered.
Yeah.
Needs to leave, demands the refund, all that kind of stuff. But she revealed that she gave her old friend Louis C.K. permission to masturbate in front of her on multiple occasions.
So weird.
She said the incidents happened when both were much younger. I'm not making excuses for him, but we were peers. We are equals. So when we were kids and he used to ask if he could jack off in front of me, sometimes I would go, "Fuck yeah, I want to see that." He could offer me nothing. So sometimes, yeah, I wanted to see it. It was amazing. Sometimes I'd be like, "Fucking gross." No. And we'd get pizza. She tried to put the incidents in context, explaining they came at a time in her life when both of them were experimenting. But I think they met at like 19. I mean, aren't you done experimenting? Like playing doctor in front of your fucking friend at like 19 years old? I don't know.
What do you mean? Like people experiment in college, like it's with shit like drugs
I guess,
and sex?
but I don't know.
I'm just saying.
So anyway, we were letting our freak flags fly. She felt sudden fame meant he didn't understand the implications of his actions. I'm not saying what he did was okay. I'm just saying at a certain point when he became influential, not even famous, but in the world of comedy, it changes. He felt like he was the same person, but the dynamic was different, and it was not okay. After he was subject to that Times article, what was that 2017 last year?
Yeah.
The New York Times expose and outed him, and he was like, "Yeah, I did all that stuff. Yeah, I jacked off in front of those girls, but I never pulled my dick out without asking permission. Always got permission first." And I thought his response was good. I learned later in life, I just thought it was no big deal. I asked these girls, they said, yeah. But I learned as time went on, like it wasn't fair. I had power over them and blah, blah, blah. As far as a response to that goes, what else can you say?
Right.
I mean, there wasn't much you could say. It's not a question to them. It was a predicament I put him in. And I thought, okay, this is a guy that's actually thought about what happened and gone, fuck, you know what? I was kind of a dick about that. I didn't understand it, but I do now. So among some of the women, the 5 women that accused Louis C.K. was Sarah Silverman's sister. And Laura, who said, "Oh yeah, he jacked off in front of me at least 20 times." Fuck. During a cross country trip, one cross country trip, he jacked off 20 times in front of her. That is still weird, right? By the way, I mean, are we just prudes?
That's like, weird to me. Like I don't get it. Like the idea that he would be like
clearly
like on a road
thing,
trip, man. Just like, yeah, I'm just gonna jerk off in front of these girls.
What is that? I just don't understand.
I don't understand the point, I guess, is the whole thing. Like,
unless you've got a giant dick and you want people to see it, maybe. I mean, what else could
the only other reason to me? Well, the only other thing to me, I guess I like masturbating, obviously, and so I guess if I was with a girl and she was like, "Oh my god, it'd be hot if you just did it," You know, like if she asked me,
totally different.
Right,
Or if you
that's
guys
what I'm
jack
saying.
off together, that happens with
No,
couples all the time.
I'm just saying though, if she asked me, you know, yeah, you're right. If she asked me and was like, oh my God, if you just did that right, I'd be like, I guess I do it all the time anyway. If you really want to see this.
Yeah, but you made a key distinction. You said
Right.
it in a relationship.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, but what he was doing, yeah, to me that is fucking weird. I guess I guess if he's asking, it is a difference between, you know, just being a complete, just ripping it out and look at my dick, but
Yeah.
it is weird to me.
Does that mean, like, if you get to a certain fame level, does that mean you can't ask those questions of people anymore? Like, people don't seem to have a problem if it's like, well, he asked permission and they were both equally not famous starting out, and that's fine. He got consent and jacked off in front of him. Does that dynamic change once it's like he's at that level? I'm asking a serious question. Like, do people really believe, like, he's Louis C.K. if that's his thing? What if that's his thing? I like to jack off in front of chicks that I
think you got to
know
buy
or I've
escorts
recently
then.
met. And maybe he likes to look on their face where they're going, is he fucking serious?
Yeah.
I think you
Well, I
have to.
think what he recognized is when he's in that position of authority, maybe they aren't really giving consent, but they're like,
Yeah.
I guess because you're Louis C.K. and I want to make sure I don't piss you off.
Yeah, I totally understand that. But at the same time, doesn't that take a little power away from chicks being able to, like, oh, they're too meek to actually give consent? They're not capable of giving consent in that situation because they're aspiring to something he's already doing. Like, you wouldn't say that if it was a guy in the room, I don't think, right? I mean, I know I'm putting a lot of, I'm asking you a question you probably can't
Fucking
answer,
weird.
but it's, I don't know.
mean, if
it's
I'm an aspiring comic, you know, if I'm a guy or a girl, I guess if Louis C.K. asks if he can jack off in the room, I guess I'm sort of under pressure. Like, even if I don't want him
guess.
to,
Yeah.
sure.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think if that's his thing, he either has to pay escorts to watch him do it, or he has to go get girls at the bar that aren't comics. I think that they can't be a comic because
Yeah.
no matter what, they're gonna think that.
Boy, I never thought we'd be having this discussion. What a weird
Yeah.
dynamic. You know, we've always heard about power, you know, casting couch, which is horrible in and of itself. But this, like, walk into a room and, hey, you guys mind if I jack off in front of you? Like, I've never been asked that question, and I hope I never am. But it's just weird. So anyway, I think Sarah was trying to help him today by talking about this.
It just
and
reminded everybody of the grotesque nature of it.
Yeah, I think that is what exactly happened. Do you see the migrants making their way across Honduras?
A growing group of migrants.
Yeah, Guatemala. Where's the majority from? Honduras, I guess, right?
I think so.
I believe it's Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, and making their way through
I think those are the
Mexico.
three shitholes at issue.
Total shitholes. Dude, this is social. It's swelled to 7,000 people now.
I heard 9 even, but yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard as low as 3 and upwards of over 7. I just can't believe the balls of these people acting like people trying to justify it. Like, well, they're running from something, you know. I mean, they're not all. And I heard Jorge Ramos, who does that.
Yeah.
What is it? The Mexican channel, the Spanish channel, whatever. And he's like, "What? I want to be very clear. These are not all rapists and murderers and blah blah." And I'm like, honestly, Jorge, who the fuck? Name one person. You show me one fucking person who's out there publicly or on the media going, well, these are all rapists and murderers coming in from these third world shithole countries. Nobody has said that. So for him, like, we need to be very clear. Some of these are great people. These are not all rapists and murderers. And
It's like a straw man thing. Like, yeah, no shit, dude. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
At most, you've heard, like, yeah, there are some bad people in there, which, you know,
of course,
reason just says there would be, right?
Dude, you put 7,000 Americans in a room. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are going to be bad. Most are going to be in the middle somewhere. That's just human nature. It's human beings. But these people, yeah, it's a sea of humanity. Trump is all pissed off. He's talking about gangsters and terrorists, some from the Middle East. Sadly, it looks like Mexico's police and military are unable to stop the caravan heading to the southern border of the U.S. Criminals and unknown Middle Easterners are mixed in. I've alerted Border Patrol and military that this is a national emergency. Must change laws. Every time you see a caravan or people illegally coming or attempting to come into our country illegally, think of and blame the Democrats for not giving us the votes to change our pathetic immigration laws. Remember the midterms, so unfair to those who come here legally. And then he reiterated, you know, pulling aid to Guatemala and the millions of dollars that are sent over there. I don't know how you feel, Jay, but I think this plays well for Trump.
Yeah, it's a bad, the picture of all these people just storming the border.
Well, that's basically a big thing of why, people liked him is the immigration, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're
fires up the base.
right.
Well, acting like, because I heard reports, news people talking, this is a picture of your poor, yearning to breathe. And I'm like, are you fucking bringing out the poem? Really, dude? Really? As if we don't let, there are immigration laws in place, and that's what they are. And your government decides how many people are supposed to come in this year.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen? You think we'll just let these 9,000 in, and we'll just help those dude. There's fucking 20,000 behind them if you let those 9,000 in without any check or without any wait, without any application.
Yeah.
There's fucking rules and procedures. My God, this is the most fucking.
No human is illegal, Jay.
It's so obvious and it's so political. It just makes me so sick to even listen to the side that tries to make this into this, big bleeding heart thing. Like, come on.
You don't set up walls with your neighbors.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. By the way, yes, we do. People set up walls. People set up walls with their neighbors all the time.
It's just I'm just so tired of it. Honestly, I can't even stand to watch another minute of it.
Yeah, I know it's infuriating, but to see it keep going on, like, I went to Ellis Island when I was in New York, and I walked around there.
Cuts in the line.
I did. But but when I walked through there, dude, I got emotional reading the stories and listening to the stories of these immigrants who risked everything, sacrificed everything for the chance to maybe make it to the great shores of America. Like they're sending, imagine, dude, taking your 10-year-old daughter.
So how does not part of that emotional transfer to these people then?
Because they came in legally. They went and got registered. And those people.
Do you have sympathy for these people? Your only point is get in line, right?
Here's the difference. Those people were coming to America to become Americans, to learn the language, to adapt to this country's ways, not to turn it into a fucking salad bowl, but turn it. But and so when I see these people piled 100 into some. Where do they even make those trucks with the big giant walls? And you just stuff 1,000 people into them.
Seriously.
And they're cheering and they're all waving their flag.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, really? You're just going to storm our border waving some third world shithole Honduras flag?
As we pay millions of dollars to your shithole country to support your
go fuck yourself.
Crap economy.
How dare you? This isn't about
Get
immigration.
in line. I'm sure there's some great people in there, and I'm sure there's people that we would want in here. Get in line and apply and go through the procedure. It's just so fucking common sense, man.
I think this is gonna play, because the fact is, when you get outside of Washington, when you get outside of the elites of New York and LA and
everybody
Hollywood,
else believes in borders.
The rest of the fucking country believes in borders. This is a bipartisan issue. Both sides agree.
Yeah, and fuck you if you want to call us racist for wanting a fucking border.
Dude,
fuck off.
It's insulting, and it ends the conversation. Because if you really believe that everybody who believes unlike you is a fucking racist, why would you want to be here then? This is the worst country ever. We're all just racists. No, we're not all racist. We all recognize that countries have borders, just like everywhere else in the world. Why would we be any different? And it's just the fucking boldness of it, of like, one guy I was reading a quote from, Aaron Juarez. He's walking through Mexico with his wife and baby, vowed that no one is going to stop us from getting into the U.S. Not after all we've gone through. Okay, Aaron, no one? We'll see about that. Brittany Hernandez. We have sunburn, we have blisters, but we got here. Our strength is greater than Trump's threats.
That's what a lot of this is. It's a big fuck you. The Mexicans just did a big Olay and just moved out of the way. Like, oh no, we tried to stop them, but they did an end run around our military. Bullshit. You loaded them into trucks and you're shipping them up here just to give Trump a big fuck you. I'm so done with this whole political scene. I can't stand it. I need to escape from it. I honest to God.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
It is so cancerous to your daily thought process. I know. And I think most of the fucking country is like that. I really do. I think there's these people who are addicted to the daily 24-hour news cycle, and they're watching it, and it's a sport, or it's an addiction, really.
Yeah.
And they're so drilled down on it, and it's their team against the other team. But dude, I think that the middle is so much larger and wants nothing to do with this shit anymore, and doesn't even want to fucking think about 9,000 people rushing our border or the Brett Kavanaugh hearing or whatever. It's just so tiring.
I know what you're saying, and you do this on a daily basis, so you are way closer to it than most. And I understand your frustration. I really do. But I look at it and I'm like, we have been talking about this issue for 50 years and nobody's done shit. And for the first time ever, you've got someone who doesn't give a fuck what you think, knows what's right, knows what the majority of Americans want, and is fighting for that. And for that, I go, fuck, man, I'm going to pay attention because it's important. You don't want another situation where we get 20 more million people just pouring across your borders.
Yeah, that's this week's situation. Next week, what's it going to be? You know, last week it was Kavanaugh. It's like, do we have a good Indian tumor story or something we can talk about?
Trust me, you do enough of those and you'll get sick of those stories too. It's just the way it is. We could talk about fetuses found in Detroit.
Oh my God, dude. What is up with the hundreds?
Yeah, 63 found now in
and this is a second funeral home, right?
Unrelated to the first one. What was it Canal or
something like that? I don't remember.
The discovery came after they found 11 at a funeral home in Detroit. Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs found heinous conditions and negligent conduct at Perry funeral homes. State authorities said on Saturday they removed 37 remains from boxes, 26 from a freezer. Some of the remains had been found to be years old. Joshua Arnkoff, he's a lawyer. He's representing the funeral home. And I'm like, oh, I want to hear what this guy has to say. How do you do this? He said they have not committed any criminal offenses. The remains were unclaimed by parents. And the funeral home did not have the legal authority to conduct the final disposition of those remains. The discovery was prompted in part by a lawsuit filed by a woman back in July whose daughter, Alea Davis, died shortly after she was born back in 2014 in December.
Wait, what does this all mean? There's like a gap in paperwork or something? These fetuses get sent to them from what? An abortion clinic or something, or a hospital? Like, and they're supposed to take care of it, but they don't because the family doesn't come to claim it?
Yes. It says they get good faith efforts to locate the parents. So they phone calls and they send mailers.
Fell out of somebody.
Well, right. And then
I'm talking about at the time. Like, I get it now. Like, it's going to be fucking really, really hard to match up a fetus with whoever birthed that thing 30 years ago or whatever.
Right.
But what is happening at the time?
Well, this woman that filed the lawsuit wanted her daughter's, her newborn fetus donated to Wayne State University for people to learn and study the human body, whatever. And that never happened. And so she was like, where's my kid? Why isn't it at Wayne State? And so there's something in there. And then all of a sudden the body just shows up. So basically,
so this shit's getting shipped from a hospital?
I guess. And the funeral home is what they're saying is the funeral homes, because there's multiple, and this is probably going on in a lot of them, to be honest with you, is saying like, this is not a case where anybody came to us, for our services. So no family came to us and said, our son or daughter died, we want it buried, and then we just stuffed it in a closet upstairs. That's not what happened.
It got sent to us by we have deals with the hospital.
There's no name tag on it. There's no name tag, and they're going, well, put it in the freezer. I guess we'll try to find whose this is.
What process is this? Like, who's bringing you these feti?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Dude, think
Perry? They say Perry Funeral Home was not involved with the body donation program. They received these remains from local hospitals who had indicated to Perry Funeral Home that the remains were unclaimed by the parents. In other words, the hospitals had informed Perry that the hospitals had reached out to the parents by certified mail and or by phone, and the families did not respond. We do not believe that any of these remains involve families that paid Perry for
funeral
services.
So there's just a gap then. There ought to be just a termination process where, okay, there's no response after 90 days, so we're just going to go ahead and fry this thing and dispose of it. And that didn't happen.
But then who's paying for that, I guess?
I just
because Gary, the dead body expert, did indicate like it does cost a lot of money to fire up those furnaces. So
yeah,
you do not want those things just running day and night if you can avoid it.
I just thought people had this shit. Someone's on this. Like, you can't just take a random baby, a human being that passes away, and just be like, yeah, we found this thing in the closet. Here, funeral home, you deal with it. Like, without some questions, some paperwork going, where did it come from? Whose was it? Where are the parents? They don't want a service for their child?
The thing is, Mike,
I just assumed that all of us were playing on the same level. Like, child dies, it's tragic as fuck, and it's a big deal.
It's a body.
Most people seem to care about their children. You wouldn't just be like, it died. Well, I got to go. I have fucking bingo at 6, man. Walk out the door and leave this thing there. And they're like, wait, we didn't even get that guy's name.
Well, Mike, much like at 9/11, when you sat there and you thought, oh, bomb missiles are just going to come out at planes. I think that with the age of the internet and like that stories don't just get 50 years ago, maybe it's just in the freaking Milford Times and it's just like whatever. With the age of like going viral, the age of the internet, I think you're just finding out that a lot of this shit, you say like, oh, people got this shit. We don't got this shit, but we're just finding it out now. Like as if it didn't just start now. Don't you think, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like because we found out last week when we did that other story, you read about places in Flint, places somewhere else where it's like, oh yeah, this place 10 years ago turns out they had issues. So this shit's just been happening and we're just.
I think on some level, you're very right, E, that I knew I was a piece of shit. But it's like, well, thank God I'm not in charge of anything. Like really, I'm not holding down the fort as far as this level of government or this funeral home. You just think there's certain services that we all
just take for granted probably.
You take for granted, but it's like, no, there's fucking Bill. He's hungover and he's running the shit and he's fucking lazy and he doesn't care. He's disgruntled. And it's like, just stuff him in a closet, man. We'll deal with it next year.
His dad had the business and he doesn't really want it, but he didn't have anything going. So he's just like, fuck it, I'll be in the funeral business. And he doesn't, like you said, doesn't really care maybe.
And what do you do if you
it's not cast aspersion because it's Bill.
Oh, yes, of course.
Could be a good guy otherwise. Well, but it probably becomes like, to you and I, like, holy shit, that's a dead body. Fuck. Like, wow, that's striking. But after being in the business, you're probably just like fucking slab of meat, whatever,
Totally. I bet that's exactly what it is. And if you play it out, if you really think about it, you're Bill at Bill's funeral home, and people are like, shit, man, I got a dead body. I guess I'll take it to the funeral home. What else am I going to do, And they take it to him, and Bill's like, oh, whose is it? It's like, dude, I don't know. It ain't mine. I fucking don't deal with dead bodies. You do. And so Bill probably for the first year or two was calling the police department. Hey, man, a guy dropped off a body. And they're like, what the fuck do you want me to do about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, they don't care. This guy didn't give me any information. Put it in the fucking closet.
Yeah, so there's just this gap in the process where they just add up 60 fetuses before you know it.
And then the public finds out about it. It's outrage. Shut them down. It's just weird, man.
It's just the reality, and some of this has nothing to do with this day and age. I do think some of this stuff that like you said, you think you got this shit. We're just knowing about it now because it's easy. You can pick up a story from fucking anywhere, Arizona, and be like, 20 babies in a fucking thing. But like, people you look at all the time, you always talk about lawyers being the pillars of the community. Well,
boy, was I wrong about that.
Well, I know, but like, and I'm not like, dude. For example, most nurses are really fucking good. They want to do it. It's what they. I know. I'm just okay. Most. My point is, but dude, the reality is they're humans.
They're all checking your dick first thing in
well,
surgery.
For one, that's
just blows.
But they're humans, and
teachers talking about us in the back room.
I remember
in the teachers' lounge. Sure. That's bullshit.
Everyone has stories like this, but I remember when my grandma was in the hospital. It's like I used to like kind of get weird about my mom because she'd be there all the time, and I'd go to visit her, and she'd be like, well, she'd be like, I'm mad because they're supposed to be checking her blood every hour and they haven't been in here in 2 hours, it looks like. And I'd kind of like get frustrated with my mom. And then I did start to think like, well, I mean, if she wasn't here, would any of this be getting done? And so
people need advocates, the system has holes and gaps and lazy people and people whose shift is done and the next person doesn't pick up on all the details on the next shift.
And it's amazing how it seems, especially in the medical industry, because I've had a lot of experience lately with it. It seems like everything's tied up and bundled properly and checks and balances and receipts and sign here and they're typing in the computer. The last couple times I'd gone to this particular doctor's office, it was like, you've got an outstanding balance of $88.67. And I'm like, you literally chain me to the fucking counter and don't let me leave until I pay my balance in full. When you don't have insurance, they want to get, some of these private places want to get paid now. They're not willing to let you just like go home and like, run a tab. No, they'll fucking make you pay. You owe us for today's services. Your visit was $56, and then it was $350 for this. You owe us $400, whatever, and you pay it. And it's like, all right, I've got my receipt, and I'm not real good at keeping that and hanging on.
The shoebox, the infamous shoebox.
And so I go in there, and they're like, so would you like to pay your outstanding balance too? And I'm like, I'm in pain, and I'm pissed, and I'm like, what fucking outstanding balance? Every time I'm here, you make me pay everything I owe you. So explain to me what this outstanding balance is. It says it's for a ET something test. And I'm like, Okay, you're gonna have to do better than that. I don't know what the fuck your code words are. You just got 3 letters. You did an ETD test. Okay, I don't know what that is.
Ask for the results of it, and then you'll pay for it.
Yeah,
Right.
I should have. I go, what is that? She goes, I don't know. Carrie, do you know what the ETD test is? She goes,
I think it's when blah,
do you
blah,
know?
blah.
And I'm like, none of you fuckers know what it is. And I'm telling you, I've paid in full every time I'm here. So finally she's like, okay, just pay for today's visit. I'll get the manager on it and we'll get to the bottom of this. And like an hour later, she comes out and she goes, the manager's taking that off your bill. I'm like, oh, how kind of her. So if I didn't bitch, I would have just paid because somewhere along the line, somebody just dropped the fucking ball on something. God only knows how many times I didn't say something and I'm just milked. They probably just look at me and go, he's back again. Just make sure you let him know he's got an outstanding balance. He'll pay it without question.
We got one. Ready?
Right, exactly.
Got one on the line.
Hey, everybody. Spectacular savings there. Back from the dead with our repulsive friends, Zot, Ford, and Holly for the month of October. Lease a new 18 Ford Escape as low as $57 a month. $57 a month. This squeamishly haunting deal will be gone before you know it. So slither your way to Zot Ford to see our zombie-rific friends. Get your ghoulish new Ford Escape as low as $57 a month. Check out the bone-chilling deals and horrifying inventory at dealsinthed.com.
How do you feel, Jay? Ex-NFL legend Rae Carruth released from jail today.
Unbelievable receiver, right? Unreal for the Carolina Panthers.
First-round pick. Amazing.
Should we look
Legend.
up these? What was...
You don't have to do that. We all know.
We could look up his stats.
What was that?
again.
Mike. Oh, dude, he was great. You know, he was short-lived career, but oh my God, he was a great receiver. We looked him up. He had like 7 receptions.
You called me
or
up.
some
You were
shit.
like, was he really that great? And I was like, oh, yeah. No, he's
Yeah.
like, I don't know why.
fantastic.
He was a first-round pick out of Colorado. Maybe I was just like, he was supposed to be. He had all this promise. I think he had a 4-year, $3.7 million deal, which sounds like peanuts now. But
He's out today, huh?
Yeah.
Killed his baby mama or had his baby mama killed.
had his baby mama killed.
Yeah.
He didn't pull the trigger. Got a nice little ovation, round of applause when he stepped out of the prison. Probably hasn't had that since taking the field last, you know?
What do we have, dude? Got 99, 98, 97. Total of 22 games played.
Yep.
Got a total
He
of
was dominant in those
62
games, though.
receptions, 804 yards.
Average 13 yards catch. Yeah. His long was
36.5 yards per game.
4 TDs in 3 years. Not bad, dude. Well on his way to legendary status. I'm not willing to talk Hall of Fame numbers yet, but
I actually feel bad that I bum rush you this every time you mention this guy's name, because I know Jay, just typical Jay, was just like, was he that good? But it is kind of funny because
I think most people don't realize how shitty Rae Carruth was. I think
it's not that he was shitty. He just hadn't played that much. But dude,
we're
it is
shining a light on this.
I guarantee you, most people do not. They think of Rae Carruth as like,
yeah. Oh my God.
oh my God, he was Steve Smith before Steve Smith got to the Panthers.
Wasn't he tiny too, or did we?
Yeah, he's kind of a wisp. What was he, number 89, I believe?
No idea. A little 5'10" receiver or some shit.
So he's been
5'11". Yeah, 5'11".
What number was
That's what
he?
he's
I don't
listed as.
wanna...
Let's see if Mike got anything right about this. Number 89.
I don't trust any of my fucking facts.
I don't know if it...
Just pull up a picture of Rae Carruth playing for.
Yeah. 1 second.
Nearly 20 years behind bars.
Shit, dude.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything left in the tank?
No.
I mean, if you needed like a third
How long
receiver,
did he serve? You're saying he served 20 years?
Yeah.
I mean, his knees are going to
almost
be
20
good and
years.
shit, though.
Wow, that does not seem like 20 years ago.
He completed his sentence of 18 years.
84. His number was... Oh, well, fuck. Here's a picture that says 89, so I don't get...
All right, Mike.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it's kind of like, look at, though. Like,
What? He's 89. Andy's 84.
So he's...
So
But he
one
was
of
89
those,
at one
he's one of
point.
those players
Yeah.
that just changes jerseys.
Yeah.
Probably
How frustrating
a
for the
better
fan.
number 89 came in or something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man.
Demanded the number.
I guess Mike gets half credit.
Giving your, slot receiver and shit.
I'm a number one.
Yeah. How about number 89?
And if number one doesn't want it, number two might. So sorry, Slotty. Have a seat, 84. So he was a 97 first-round draft pick, released from the Sampson Correctional Institute in Clinton, North Carolina, after completing 18 years. In November 99, a man hired by Carruth shot 8 months pregnant Cherika Adams 4 times. That is a horribly disturbing 911 call where they're asking her, she's dying, bleeding out on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
8 months pregnant. And do you know who shot you? And she's like, Rae Carruth. Calls out, yeah. And it's all because he didn't want to pay child support.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Let's see, rubber or shoot my girlfriend.
Yeah. And so his son is delivered C-section, and
Oh, I didn't realize that. So he's out there. Oh, we did a story on
he's
the
18.
the grandma.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Her mother
Yes.
has been raising him all this time, Cherika's mother. He was left with palsy of a cerebral nature
My favorite. My
yep.
favorite palsy.
and brain damage.
Oh, okay.
It's not my favorite damage, to be honest with you.
Not your favorite damage?
No, it's
Of a
not.
brain nature? Yeah.
No.
And it was all because of lack of air, that the kid didn't get enough air. So this is
Air's really important to the human body.
absolutely preventable.
Especially the brain.
Yeah.
Which
When
is-
you get rid of organs, lungs, keep them. Okay.
Yeah, you
Gotta
need-
keep
the
the
lungs.
lungs. Air is
Critical.
How does he not? I mean, that's awful, dude. Here's a kid that is fucked for life, going to need round-the-clock care for his entire life.
right.
Supposedly a very, very happy kid, 18 years old kid. I keep calling, but direct result of the hit that was put out on his
Yeah.
mom and her bleeding out and the lack of air that got to this kid's brain fucked this kid up. You
Right.
know? Yeah, and all because you don't want to pay child support. There was a smattering of applause when he got out. I don't know what that's about. I guess family and friends will.
Where did the
Stand
applause
behind you
come
no matter
from?
what.
He's changed. He's
But where do they
rehabilitated.
come from? You just said smattering of applause.
And
Not
then
the
you make
inmate.
a few years, a few friends after
20
18
years,
you
I mean,
know?
for sure, dude.
Well,
I don't
no,
know
it was
anyone
family
with
and friends waiting for him outside the gates.
Oh,
So when they opened the
okay.
gates and he
Gotcha.
walked out, it was like, yeah, number
Woo!
89.
Be awesome. There was some guy there
Sometimes
face
84.
painted. Imagine if there was some face painter there. Come on, come back.
Dude, is it I mean, Brady came in the league in what, 97? 98? Or was he
No,
was on the
no,
98
no.
team, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Wait.
somewhere like 99 or something, I guess.
He's still going. Dude, Carruth has put no fucking
mileage.
Dude, there's no mileage on those legs.
Those
Those
Achilles
hands.
are strong.
Strong like plow. Strong like. Yeah, dude, there's a lot there that, I mean, I'd at least like to see him get a camp or
Fucking
something.
break.
Can you imagine if your number 3 goes down and it's like, might as well bring him in and see if there's any tread left
I
on
mean,
the
if I'm the
tires.
Argonauts, maybe I make a call. The
Nobody sniffing around from the NFL. Not
Come on,
once, not a whiff.
T.O. ended up with the outlets or some shit, didn't
I
he?
know, but T.O. played all those years. He was banged up, man. He had big injuries, for real. I mean, you wouldn't, if you're an NFL GM, you wouldn't go kick the tires on Rae Carruth just a little bit. He's 44. Hasn't played
82 career receptions.
Yeah.
I mean, 804 yards.
he's got to get through the next 9 months. They're going to kind of rehabilitate him into
Sure,
society. but
halfway
after
house,
that-
all that,
So it's probably unlikely that he
not
could make
this
a
year.
run,
You're talking
run
next
for
year.
the postseason this year, but for
Will his
next year,
probation allow him to travel? We don't know.
who knows? Unanswered questions. But if he gets this 9 months out of the way, it's like an Achilles injury, Jay. Next year, start a training camp. Youngish,
God,
45-year-old.
a fresh Carruth.
A fresh Carruth. Dude, we could see if he could. I mean, could you imagine if that guy made Hall of Fame numbers starting at 45?
Just think of for 18 years, he's just been chiseling himself.
Yeah.
Just
trying to
working
get
on
back in the
working on the
league.
SAQ. He's just chiseled. Just
Yeah.
got his 40 time is right up there, higher than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Lower than it's ever been.
Mm.
Sorry, and he's just ready to go, man.
Do they get 40 yards of freedom at any stretch? Is the yard 40
I'm
yards?
sure the yard is more
I mean,
than 40
'cause
yards.
He might have been doing 30 yards. He's
He's
running
got-
a 3.30.
He's got to turn. He does an out and back, a 40 with an out and back. Jesus, how old is he?
He's 44.
shit.
Oh, he is 40.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, there's no kicking the tires on
Dude,
Carruth.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying. So anyway, she was 24 years old at the time. She was killed and shot, died less than a month after the shooting. She was driving home after seeing a movie with Carruth, and the only thing I could think of, what fucking movie did they see? And
Yeah,
it's
did
not
they-
answered. No. 1997. So he was drafted 97, 98, 99.
God, what were the big movies
One of
there?
the big movies that they could have seen. Now, a black couple. So don't just think like, oh yeah, Castaway.
So
Maybe they
something
wouldn't
like
be into
how
that.
Stella got her groove back or something.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
what you're suggesting?
That's what I'm suggesting. Yes.
Movies in 99, you said?
So he was drafted in 97. We know he played 3 years.
When did the shooting happen?
Let's see. Okay, hold on. I'll tell you. She was 24 years old.
I mean, we've got 99. We got The Matrix, Fight Club, American Beauty, Sixth Sense. Wow, this is
November 16, 1999.
kind of a big.
So what were the big
this-
Christmas?
That could be some
kind
Halloween
of a
era
big year for
Thanksgiving.
movies, dude. Like I said,
no,
the Blair Witch Project, Green Mile, Being John Malkovich, Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay.
Hey, baby, let's go see Eyes Wide Shut.
Shit.
Shit.
Green Mile had
Magnolia. Green Mile had the big black guy. Are you suggesting that two black people would want to see
the
that?
big. Be interested in that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's the big black guy.
Yeah.
There's
There's
prison.
no way they were going to see the Blair Witch Project. I mean, just the shaky nature of that camera was too tough for most people.
I would have seized.
You would have seized, and as a pregnant woman, she's not going to want to go to that.
Maybe
movie.
The Sixth Sense. Maybe Fight Club.
What was some of the other earlier
The
ones
Matrix.
you said? No.
Toy Story 2.
No.
Green Mile being John Malkovich. Eyes Wide Shut. Three Kings.
No. Keep going. There was
Magnolia.
No.
American Beauty.
Maybe American Beauty. There was one other one that struck out at me when you said it early on, when you first started reading the list.
All of them. How about Star Wars Episode 1?
Was that coming out then?
Did they go see Episode 1, The Phantom Menace?
Maybe. God damn it. There was one in there you said, I was like, okay, I could see them going to that one. Can't remember what it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this would be a tip-off.
What day did you say? You actually said a specific day.
It was November 11th, 1999, or November 16th. Where is it? November 16th. They go to the movies. They take separate cars.
Dude.
His wife is 8 months pregnant. Would
Sure.
that be a little bit of a flag? Would you let your 8 months pregnant?
Hey, baby, I gotta meet you, man.
I gotta meet your ass at the theater. We go see that Green Mile and shit. Motherfucker's good.
There's a black guy in it.
And so
Austin Powers, Spy Who Shagged Me.
yeah, I could see him being into that.
God, remember when that was so fucking big? Remember everybody? Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby, yeah. God, it's so obnoxious.
I remember just like going to. That's like when I was in like my middle school age. So like when those movies are big, everyone's just saying the sayings.
Yeah. All the one-liners.
Right. We went to Cedar Point and like, get in my belly. Remember that shit?
Totally. So they take separate cars. Another car pulls up. In that car is Van Brett Watkins and Michael Kennedy. They pull up beside her car and open fire. He says, I'm nervous about how I'll be received by the public. I'm excited about being out of jail, though. I still have to work. I still have to live. I have to exist out there. And it just seems like there's so much hate and negativity towards me. I wonder why he feels that way. It's tough.
Could be any reason. Number of reasons.
I'm actually somewhat frightened. His son, Chancellor Lee Adams, has irreparable brain damage, palsy of a cerebral nature. He was going and doing some interviews and saying like, Nana has watched my son long enough. I want to get my son back. This and that. And the outcry publicly was so strong. That It was like, all right. I'm not gonna get involved.
Not going there.
Fuck this shit up. I fucked up enough already. I've done enough. And so yeah. By the way, the Watkins guy was the one that pulled the trigger. He pled guilty to second-degree murder, serving a minimum of 40 years. Kennedy, who was driving the car, was released in 2011.
God, Big Daddy, Tarzan.
Big Daddy, maybe.
Notting Hill.
See, this is. I will say that he's just naming. Here's the thing. These are when these movies.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Oh, okay.
So what do we have for the 19th? 17th? What came out on the 17th?
But it was
Liberty
the
Heights?
16th, though.
I know, but
Oh.
Oh yeah. Okay. I gotcha.
So it'd have to be.
It's got to be something like something coming out on the 10th or
The Bone Collector. Sixth Happiness. Some Fish Can Fly. I don't know. I don't know any of these movies. Anyway, he did have a job in jail. Care to guess what his job was? We've got license plate making. We've got tailoring, which you would be great at.
Mending, yeah, just mending.
Mending,
I don't know.
He was a barber.
Is that right?
Yeah, you know what you get paid. So if anyone's like out there just like I can't find a fucking job, if you want to be a prison barber, you can make upwards of $1 an hour. Not bad,
That actually is way more than you usually hear about.
Yeah.
Like they're usually
15 cents.
Yeah,
to
15
make
cents a
license plates.
fucking day. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, you already know the Hamlin Pub is a great place to watch the big tackle ball game or even out for an evening with your girl. But are you aware of Hamlin Pub's amazing Tuesday and Thursday food specials? Tuesdays, they're burger and brew days. That's an Angus burger, fries, and your choice of 12-ounce domestic beer or a pop, just $6.99. If pizza's more your thing, then get there on Thursdays when you'll get half off all pizzas. These specials are good at all 5 Hamlin Pub locations: Clarkston, Chesterfield, Rochester, and of course the 2 in Shelby Township.
How we doing for email, Jay?
We do have some email, Mike.
What do we got?
If you'd like to write into the show, send us your thoughts to email at DetroitCast.com. Let's see here. I've had it stacking up. Jug writes in, faggot, and faggist.
Okay.
Thanks for the great tribute to Mike Clark. I don't think anyone would complain if the cult leader told more Clark stories. Thanks, gents. The show's been great since the beginning.
See, not overbooed.
I added beginning.
Oh, did you?
Jug.
Yeah. That's why you're here, Jay. Talent.
That type of
It's
action.
undeniable,
right
man.
type of action. Ed writes in, high on life, married with wife, and Mike. Even though my self-imposed email ban is not quite over, says Ed, I can no longer stand quiet. I didn't know that Ed was on a self-imposed ban.
Yeah,
okay.
Happens.
Whoever that is.
Are you stooges funded by Big Elmo? Why else have you talked about Big Bird and the Count's troubles, but have not exposed Elmo's #MeToo moment? That little red fuzzy fuck is a real dick. Easus, Big Elmo, and whether that actor or the puppeteer was involved in a Me Too moment.
Oh, boy.
While the show has been fine as of late, I look forward to helping to make the reading of email great again in 2019 when I rejoin the email pool. Why did he stop emailing?
I don't know.
Did we banish him?
It's worth a follow-up from him. Maybe we did. I could see us doing something like that. And to his point, I think the problem with Elmo, as far as you and I are concerned, is Elmo was after our years on the street.
Yeah. So we don't.
You know,
That's
so
not
we
what
just
we
don't-
immediately think of. My kids went through Elmo and Zoe, that little orange chick, sort of Elmo-like chick. But
Sure.
yeah, no, it didn't.
Did he molest
resonate.
Zoe? Is that the accusation?
I don't know. I think the puppeteer is accused of something. I think we actually covered something about the puppeteer. He's like a big black dude or something, which is weird because
Oh, of
Elmo's like
course,
this
the black guy. Yeah. Falsely accused the black guy. Why not?
Dave writes in the Disney grievant. Remember this guy? He was like, Disney World, fuck it. We were supposed to
wanted
go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Bona fide old man, pussy, and Mike. In follow up to the Disney grievance I sent in, let me fill in the blanks you didn't know. My kids are 7 years old my kids are 7-year-old girl and 10-year-old boy. Her family does one large trip a year and typically books the trip through Costco, as the hotels they put you up in are pretty kick-ass. Last year, we went to Aruba, and the kids and adults both had a blast. Then when this year's trip came up, my son and I wanted to go to Hawaii, and wife and daughter wanted Disney. Both trips were similar in cost after considering air and hotel, so that played no factor in the decision-making. But when my wife said, they are only this age once, we can go to Hawaii next year, I caved, hence the pussy part of your findings. And so I broke the news to my son. Now, if you ask the kids what's your favorite trip, what was it? It's still Aruba. Disney isn't even a close second. Cedar Point ranked higher on the list.
Yeah, Disney blows, dude.
That's outrageous. As for timing, we picked the supposed slowest week of the season, which is the last week of August, since most schools are back in at that point, and it is still hot as fuck. I will accept the pussy ruling, but need the old man retracted immediately, of course, by writing a follow-up like this and complaining. It may in and of itself constitute old man stature. I agree with you, Dave. It does.
There seems like such an easy solution here. He says it right in the middle of the thing. Wife and daughter want to go to fucking Disney.
Send 'em
Him
there.
and son want to go to Hawaii. Like, dude, let's split the baby. You go your way. We'll go our way. We'll meet back here in a week.
Can you imagine doing that as a family?
Fuck
Just like,
yes.
"Yeah,
Be awesome.
see you back here. Have a good time.
Boys night out.
Mwah."
Yeah.
Hmm.
You couldn't do that?
So he friggin' resigned. Kevin Clash resigns as Elmo in wake of sex scandal.
Yeah.
Why wasn't this on our radar, Mike? Oh, this is 2012?
Yeah, that's probably why it wasn't on our radar
Yeah.
of late.
Yeah.
So what did he do? Did he finger Elmo or something? Like what?
I
What's
don't know. That's what.
accused last week by a Pennsylvania man of having a sex relationship when the man was 16.
I do remember this, yeah.
You know, if you're a puppeteer and you get accused of that, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I want Louis C.K.'s comedy on stage. I'm willing to let some shit slide. But if you're a puppeteer,
Yeah, you're
you
not
just don't.
exactly like, you're kind of dispensable.
I mean, there's another
Sorry.
arm that can slide into that
Yeah.
puppet, right?
I know they all think they're great artists, you know? Like this
Yeah.
guy who does Big Bird for 50. Oh, I mean, the only guy who can do Big
Hi,
Bird.
Bird.
Fuck you. You're not the only guy who can freaking, you can go like this.
Yeah. Waltz around in your stupid outfit.
Anonymous writes in. Anonymous wants to comment on the anger that the Judge Kavanaugh expressed at his hearing when he got really pissed off about
Like beer?
being railroaded.
Still like beer?
Anonymous says, when I was 17, fresh out of high school, I was falsely accused of rape. The girl was 16. We met at a party. We made out for a while, and eventually we got to the point of having sex. I literally got the tip of my dick just pressed against her, not even breaking the plane of insertion.
Wow.
And she changed her mind and asked me to stop. I stopped, of course, no biggie. There'd be hundreds of other girls out there. I knew.
Oh,
Wait, what year?
hundreds.
What year was this? Does he say?
There'd be hundreds of other girls out there. I knew. I knew.
Wow.
So we made out a bit longer. Why?
Yeah.
So we made out a bit longer, and she wrote her number on my hand. We went our separate ways. The next day, my buddy tells me that she says I raped her. Can you imagine that?
So wait,
Dude,
if I'm to get
He
this
didn't even
straight,
break the plane.
he rounded third, was heading for home. The coach is holding him up at third, and instead of just going back to third, he
Dude.
went back to first.
Gene Lamont puts up the stop sign when he's already sliding into home.
Yeah, he's like made the turn towards home.
Anonymous amazingly gets up. He stops his slide.
Yeah.
He dodges home plate.
Had to be a pass ball or something.
Slides out of the way of home plate, gets up, and you're exactly right. I think he heads right over to first. He doesn't even go third, second, one. He just goes tromping back to first.
Yeah, but he went from dick tip, which is
Understood.
third plus.
Understood.
And then back to making out. I think you're right.
He walked over to first.
He bypassed the plate for some odd reason.
Dodged it.
Yeah. And then went back to first. That's weird, dude. He's starting over.
The dexterity involved there was
Did he
amazing.
steal second?
No, listen. The next day his buddy tells him that she says he raped her. I thought he was joking, but what? Can you imagine that?
Oh,
I was now freaking out. The cops are looking for me, and I'm hiding at a buddy's house trying to figure out what to do. I finally called my Army recruiter and told him what was going on. He drove over and picked me up, took me directly to talk to a detective at the police station. I told him everything I knew and agreed to a polygraph, which was going to be the next day. I know what you're thinking. Yes, it was dumb to go do that without a lawyer, and you're right, but I was a dumb kid following the advice of my trusted recruiter. The next day, the detective called me, told me that the girl confessed to making it all up. After she and I parted ways, she got drunk and got home super late, and in order to not get in trouble, she told her parents she was raped.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Dude, she should.
Dude, we've heard stories like that before. I want those.
She needs to be
fullest extended luck because they're bad for the movement. They're the examples that people are able to point to and go,
brutal.
yeah, well, what about this story? What about that story?
Anonymous says, I went from sheer terror to massive relief, finally into full-on Kavanaugh. I got so fucking angry. I wanted her dead for what she did to me. I was scheduled to go to boot camp in 4 months, but I called my recruiter and told him to get me the fuck out of Dodge. I was on a plane and a new life 30 hours later. So I don't blame Kavanaugh one single bit for his anger at that hearing. Fuck that Cyclops ugly bitch for saying those things about him.
Yeah. Dude, you can imagine how pissed you'd be if you'd worked your entire life for something and you're on the cusp of it, and then all of a sudden this comes out and you 100% believe it to be false. It'd be really hard to hold your composure.
All right, which one of you fucks is binging adult diapers now? Okay,
Well,
because now we're
with
getting
my gallbladder issues,
getting tons of emails. This is before your issues. Getting tons of emails regarding adult diapers. I mean,
not it.
I don't know if you know how it works, but my computer
got sizes and
like I'd have to be binging it over here.
Dude, I'm still dealing with manufacturing and fabrics out of China.
Get a lot of that, a lot of boner medicine, and
you guys are lucky. I haven't taken my job offers that have been offering me upwards of $50,000 a month or something. So I mean,
yeah,
I really like being
myself.
here.
50 grand a month is hard to turn away from.
I just like doing this podcast so much, though.
All right, here's one for you. JPC the fourth chimes in. My family recently switched over to Wasik Insurance, and we could not be more pleased with the service we've received. A month or so back, I emailed Brent about switching over. He had me send over a few PDFs of my current insurance policies to get the ball rolling. From there, he put me in touch with one of his employees, Stephanie. In the eternal words of Uwe, she's a good woman.
She's a good woman. Yeah, she's good people.
Not only did she provide me with cheaper insurance quotes, fast I might add, but her patience is unparalleled. You see, I was sort of negligent with my responses to said quotes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Been there.
And I'm sure this poor girl was like, what the fuck? I sent you over way cheaper quotes. Please examine them and respond. So I finally responded and made the change to Wasik, but their service didn't end there. Unfortunately, there was a snafu between my mortgage and insurance company that resulted in my policy premium not coming out of my escrow account.
What?
I hate when that happens.
I hate that too. God,
it's the worst.
The insurance company was looking for the premium to be paid up front. So I was like, in my best Walters Proops voice, oh man, I don't feel like dealing with this. Hey, maybe Stephanie from Wasik will take care of this.
That sounds like a job for Stephanie.
So I emailed her in the evening after work hours and was super surprised to get a response within a half hour. By the next morning, she had sorted out all the issues and was always right with the world again.
Yeah.
Always right.
I had the same experience with Merck when he was like, yeah, I see this paper. You're going to have to get in contact with your old company and ask them what this means and blah, 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 blah. And I was like,
that's overwhelming.
He's like, you're not going to do that.
I'll just keep paying the money I have, whatever.
Boy, that sounds like a lot of confusing work. I really wish I could find someone else to make that call. He's like, give me the paperwork. I'll have a girl do it. She'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah, that's why I hired you, Dick Licker. So make her do it.
JPC4 says, so if any listeners are iffy about taking Wasik up on his services, please don't be. They're awesome, especially if you're the type of person to occasionally put forth minimal effort. Oh, and they're honest. Wasik couldn't beat our current auto insurance, so he informed us to just leave it be. Also,
nice.
lastly, I just want to recognize the king for his strong JPE during the Breeze Jennifer Granholm mole discussion. Breaking out an Uncle Buck quote is next level. Take this quarter, go downtown, and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face. Good day to you, madam. Too bad it fell on deaf ears among your cohorts. Tough room.
Yeah, this is
do
tough.
it live,
Nobody
JPC
wants
for
to
it.
laugh for the other's jokes. It just, I mean,
I
we
might
didn't
have if I
that.
knew the reference. I didn't know the reference.
When we were talking about the burn victim, and I said, and he wants to be a model. He was burned over 95% of his body, but he wants to be a model. And then I said, what the fuck could he model? And you said, I don't know, horizontal red and green sweaters. Like, as much as I wanted to hold the laughter in, it was not happening.
Couldn't help it.
Dude, a Freddy Krueger joke that fast,
You couldn't help it.
it's just fantastic.
Yeah, I drew it out of you.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
Very good. As long as I don't lose another organ between now and
Well,
tomorrow.
it seems to me you can, man.
I know,
Appendix,
right?
spleen.
you still
those
got
are-
a few to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can lose one of your kidneys technically.
Thyroid?
Shit, I didn't even think about the kidney aspect.
Great point, Jesus. I didn't even.
You can lose one.
Yeah.
Now you're drinking and whatnot.
Would you give me a
little-
kidney if I needed?
Fuck no.
Look,
Yeah.
let's be
I'm
honest.
drinking too
Your
much.
liver is probably pretty overextended.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
probably
Can I
not
get in line
exactly
now?
working.
Will they let me get in line
Maybe.
now before mine's cashed? Just like, if
You'll
I
ju-
want to get in
dude,
line early.
You'll just take cuts.
That's a good point. Start making calls. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging with us today and being patient with us as I went through whatever I did over the weekend. We appreciate that, and we'll be back tomorrow. So we'll see you guys then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Listen, sugar.